Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Imagine communication that's so resilient, so independent, it almost feels impossible today, right? We're diving into bitchat. That's Jack Dorsey's new messaging app, the one announced just this past July, 2025.
Yeah.
And this isn't just, another chat app. It seems like a really fascinating project,
Oh, absolutely.
especially this dual transport architecture. We want to understand that its promise for, well, really resilient communication, even though it's still experimental right now.
Exactly. And what's fascinating, I think, is that bitchat isn't just some standalone app. It's really an extension of Dorsey's whole philosophy,
Yeah.
towards these permissionless open protocols,
Hmm.
like Bitcoin, like Nostr. He's explicitly called it open source, like a foundational building block.
Right. Foundational for what, though?
Well, for infrastructure independence, fundamentally, and robust censorship resistance. That's key. We've actually seen the need for this kind of thing before, haven't we? Similar tools popped up during protests, say, in Nepal or Indonesia, when the main networks were shut down or compromised.
Hmm. So the design reflects that.
Totally. The principles are clear. No phone numbers needed, temporary nicknames, minimizing metadata, all aiming for maximum user anonymity and sovereignty. It's not just about getting messages through. It's about the right to communicate freely without a central choke point.
Okay, that's a huge goal. Communication that's like virtually uncensorable and always on. That's a massive claim. So how does BitChat actually try to engineer this? You mentioned the dual transport architecture. That sounds like the core innovation here. How does it work? How does it make sure messages get through?
Yeah, it's clever. It intelligently combines two distinct layers, and it can sort of gracefully degrade if one layer isn't working. So first, there's an offline layer. It's a peer-to-peer Bluetooth low-energy mesh network, BLE.
Okay, BLE mesh. So phones talking directly to each other.
Exactly. Every device running BitChat acts like a mini node, a client, a server, and a router all at once. It creates this multi-hop relay system. Messages can literally bounce between nearby devices.
Ah, interesting. How far can that reach?
Potentially up to maybe 300 meters or so if you've got enough users packed together. Think like a crowded concert, maybe, where cell service is jammed.
Right, right. Or a protest.
Or a protest, exactly. With BitChat, you could still message a friend nearby, or potentially relay a message across the whole area if enough people are using it. Plus, it has this store and forward thing. It caches messages if the recipient is offline and delivers them as soon as they reconnect to the mesh.
So you get these little pockets of communication, even in total dead zones.
That's the idea for the local offline part.
Okay, that BLE mesh handles the local challenge really well. But, the real test is reaching beyond that local bubble. How does BitChat use Nostr, then, for the global reach when the internet is actually available?
Right, exactly. Because a purely local mesh has its limits. So if the recipient isn't nearby on the BLE mesh, BitChat just seamlessly switches over to Nostr. It uses Nostr as its internet transport layer.
And Nostr itself is decentralized, right? Not like a typical server setup.
Precisely. Nostr acts like this global network of, well, basically dumb relays. They just pass messages along. They don't score much. They don't process much. All the smarts, the cryptography, the privacy features, that stays on your device in the client. They call them smart clients.
Ah, okay, so that makes
Yeah.
censorship much harder. No central server to lean on or shut down.
Exactly. It radically reduces the attack surface. So BitChat isn't just offline or online, it's this hybrid system. You could start chatting over Bluetooth in a stadium, walk out, and the conversation just continues over the internet via Nostr without you doing anything.
Seamless switching. That solves that isolated mesh problem we saw with earlier apps like FireChat, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. It addresses that limitation head on.
So, okay, that covers direct messaging. What about public communication?
Yeah.
Group chats, community announcements, that kind of thing. Does it do that too?
It does. For public stuff, it leverages Nostr again, but using these unique geohash channels.
Geohash channels, location-based.
Yeah, exactly. It lets you create or join channels tied to a specific geographic area. Could be a city block, a neighborhood, maybe even a whole country. So you can connect with people in the same general area, even if they aren't close enough for the Bluetooth mesh.
Interesting. And how is privacy handled over Nostr, especially for direct messages, if it's using these public relays?
Good question. It uses something called NIP17. That's Nostr Improvement Proposal 17. It defines how to send private DMs. They use this technique called gift-wrapped encryption. Think of it like a secure private message inside another public envelope.
Okay.
The public relays only see the outer wrapper, which looks harmless. Only the intended recipient has the key to unwrap it and read the actual message inside.
Clever. So privacy even on public infrastructure.
That's the goal.
So taking all this in, I mean, it really feels like a significant architectural evolution, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just iterating, it's building on past ideas like mesh networks and
Yeah.
Oster, but combining them in a new way. It feels like it's really pushing the boundaries.
I agree. If you look at the big picture, bitchat is, I'd say, a highly promising experimental technology. It's arguably the first system designed for truly resilient, gracefully degrading messaging. That's a big deal.
But you said experimental. What are the caveats?
Yeah, and this is crucial for listeners, for you to remember. While the design is robust on paper, it currently lacks external security audits. That's important. And, even in its beta phase, there was a known user impersonation vulnerability. They likely fixed it, but it highlights the experimental nature.
Right. So not quite ready for super sensitive stuff just yet.
Probably not right now. The vision is compelling, absolutely, but there's that tension between the design goals and the current audited reality. Needs more battle testing. But looking ahead, they do have plans. Things like Wi-Fi direct integration, which could mean higher throughput, maybe better support for photos and video eventually.
Okay, it makes sense. So let's leave our listeners with this thought then. For you, what does this push towards truly sovereign, truly resilient communication like bitchat is aiming for? What does it suggest about where we're heading? I mean, if this becomes widely accessible, how might that change things? Everything from, say, disaster response to just how we connect day to day, potentially outside of central control. Something to think about.